commend you to God and to the word of his grace, which is able to build you up and to give you an inheritance among where? All them which are sanctified. Which implies that the inheritance of the saints, the one who is born again, is among the saints, not outside. So meaning if you are living in isolation, you can't inherit what is among the saints, the sanctified one. So something happened when we gather, which will never happen in your bedroom. It's just the truth. So we say that the church ought to be fed by the leadership. Leadership in the church is not to your disadvantage, it's to your advantage. Why? Because it takes God process, time to set leadership. Let me show you something. 1 Kings chapter 22. Verse 17. So the nation of Israel were in a war with other nations. So they decided to go for war. And look at what God is saying. And he said, the prophet, I saw all Israel scattered up upon the hills as a sheep that have not a shepherd. That's the view of the prophet. And the Lord said, these have no master. Let them return every man to his house in peace. They were going for war. And God says, there's no master. All of you to go back. No matter how ready the people are, if there is no leadership, that organization can never start. I'll show you an example. Jacob went to Egypt because of Joseph. Then he died there. And then the family grew up and Moses was born. God appeared to Moses and says, I've heard the cry of the children of Israel. The nation of Israel have been in this bondage, in this slavery over 400 years. After 400 years, God says, I've heard their cry. Does that mean that for all this while, he has not been hearing them? He has been. But there was no man to be a leader to bring them out. So leadership is very important. So Moses fled from Egypt when he was 40. And when he came back to take on the baton of the Lord, he was 80 years. Now, in that instances, it's not that Moses was completely ready. It means that he's ready at least to start. If you look at the life of the apostles, as if Jesus was so hard on Peter than the rest of them. I saw many instances where when men of God misbehave, they'll say, oh, Abi, he's a man. We are not saying he's not a man. But to be a man of God, it takes a level of training to attend there. So there are some mistakes we don't expect them to do. So it takes God time to establish leadership. So you have to know that they are to your advantage, not disadvantage. Because that's one of the major reasons why people don't belong to local church. If I see some leaders and they are doing certain things, it pricks my heart because you don't know what leadership is. So if God is hard on you, chances are you have a great calling. Upon all the teachings that Jesus did, 3.5 years, when he rose, he was still teaching them. Why? It takes time for people to enter into their leadership. So in as much as God has a calling for each one of us differently before we were even born, how be it? It requires time, training, process for us to enter into those offices. And that's where the prophet said, or God said to the prophet in Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5, he said, before I formed thee in the belly, I know you. Before you came out of your mother's womb, I have sanctified you, ordained you as a prophet unto the nations. In Galatians chapter 1 verse 15, Apostle Paul said, when it pleased God who separated me from my mother's womb, he did that from my mother's womb. So it means that if you have a call, that call is there before you came to this world. How be it? There must be training in order to fully attend into that calling. So leadership is the wisdom of God in the body of Christ. And they are not against us. They are for us. They are not against us. They are for us. Leadership is for us. It's for our benefit, our improvement, our betterment, our betterment. So don't be scared about the leadership we have in the body of Christ. They are for our own good. You see, so that's why you cannot reward men of God. You can only appreciate them. The only person that can reward we men of God is God himself. Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 17. 1 Timothy 5:17. Let the elders, and then I taught you that the elders are not the gray-headed, right? Did you remember that? Let me prove that to you. So put one hand in 1 Timothy and let's go to Job. Somebody say Job. Job chapter 32, verse 8. For there is a spirit in a man, and the inspiration of God giveth him understanding. Verse 9. Pay attention. Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment. Big people are not always wise. Neither do the gray-headed always. So the person who gives the understanding is the Spirit, which is said in the verse 8, that there is a spirit in a man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth him understanding. Meaning it is not by bigness or gray-headedness that makes people understand. It is the inspiration of the Lord. So let's go back. 1 Timothy chapter 5 verse 17. Let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double what? Honor. How many honor? Double. Now, double doesn't mean two in this instance. So double here means adequate appreciation. Let the elder that rule well. Do you see rule well? Because they are some elder, they are not ruling well. I am after you, your maturity, your well-being, you fulfilling the plan of God for your life. That's what I'm after, not the things you have. So a good man of God can never be after the things you have. If a man of God is after the things you have, brother, I give you guarantee, run away. Apostle Paul says, when I came, I wasn't thinking, okay, so who is the biggest? Okay, so you are the biggest. Okay, that's beautiful. That's awesome. You are what? No. He said the only reason I came, the motive behind my coming is that Jesus Christ and Him crucified. He needs it.